Well, here we are. It is cold, it is snowing, it is bright out. It's got to be at least negative 12 or 15, I think, today. Plus the wind chill on that. And we put the Buick outside yesterday. Somebody messaged me last night, I was talking to them, and they brought up the fact of fuel pressure. And I said to them, but the car ran pretty good with that tank in it, and then all of a sudden it just stopped running good. And then he said something to me, did it actually run good, or did you just think it ran good? So then I watched some of the older videos, the startups and all that, and it kind of ran like crap since day one. And I've never had it with a low pressure pump. Now, this is throttle body, so it does have a fuel injector, and I ran a couple TBI systems before, and the 30 to 40 PSI pumps seem to work pretty good for them. But maybe this one's different. Like, I don't think it is, but it might be. I do think I have a low pressure pump. I think I will just have to find it. It'll be easy to install and try. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to make a difference. We got it out here running again yesterday with the different spark plugs and all that, and took it for a couple test drives up and down the driveway. It's still kind of bogged out, but it did run and drive and move. I just want to say something. A lot of you guys are saying, put a Toyota motor in it, put a 3100 in it, do this, do that. If I put a Toyota motor into this, I pretty much can't run this anywhere around my house, which means I'd have to probably drive to either Ottawa area and run with an Ontario show, or that's about 4.5 hours away, or go down to the US, which is a hotel overnight. Food, fuel, border expenses. Fuel is the big one. I'd probably be $1,000 just going down to the US plus entry fee. This car is not worth that. I really don't think this car is going to make a huge impact in my Derby career. I honestly think that Yaris would do better than this. But I just want to explain to you guys, I'm not willing to put that amount of time and that amount of money into this car to take it to the US. So, I'm not going to be doing a motor swap. I'm going to be trying one more thing, and if it doesn't work, this car is garbage to me. Some YouTube guy, some other my guys that watch my YouTube channel and local guys want to try to fix it. So I'm going to try the fuel pump today, and if it doesn't work, then she's out of my hair, out of my life, and they will try to fix it because he says that he knows a guy that knows 2.5s and he can get it running. Well, if he can get it running, he can derby it. But let's go see if I can find this fuel pump on my shelf and see what we can do with it today. Maybe the lower fuel pressure will work. Google says it's around 14 PSI, which is a low pressure pump, but I don't know. I've ran TBIs before, and they all like the high pressure, but maybe this is an older TBI. Let's go see if we can find that pump. Well, what we have here is my used parts washer, and Varsol's expensive, so when I get a car that's got really yellow, old-smelling gasoline, it goes in the parts washer. And what I have is a battery sitting on the edge of this, very unsafe-like if it was to drop in, the whole place could blow up. And then we have a fuel pump. This is a low-pressure fuel pump. Now, I don't remember where I got this thing, but something tells me this is the one I had in my Bash for Cash car a whole long time ago, and I'm pretty sure it's junk. But I've kept it, and I went to Bash for Cash in 2015, and this is 2020. So this pump, I've kept it for 5 years. So there's probably a reason why I kept it. Let's see, I'm going to put power to it. Does it turn on? Okay, it turned on. Let's see if it pumps any fuel. Whoa, she's pumping fuel! Well, guess what? It works. So I have a pump, and it pumps fuel. Now what I need is a little piece of fuel to go into the gas tank on the Oldsmobile or Buick, whatever the heck it is. And then I'm just going to jumper wire this to the positive and then hook it right to the fuel line and pump that to the motor. I think we have a low pressure pump that we can test in that Oldsmobile. Now I just have to get ready to go outside, and it's cold. My hands are going to freeze, so I should find some gloves. So, we got the other fuel pump Jimmy rigged into it. I don't know if it's going to leak. I didn't really do up all the connections super tight. I think we're just killing this battery. Somehow I don't think this is going to be the issue, is the low pressure pump. The battery's dead. Well, we have every car's best friend in the winter, and that's a battery booster. The only thing cars like more than battery boosters in the winter is ether. So, we're going to crank this thing right up to the engine start at 200. Make sure that fuel pump's on. I do not think this is a low pressure car, and I'm going to show you guys why. But I've had quite a bit of people comment that it's a low pressure car, and I've had quite a bit of people message me and tell me it's a low pressure car. But I don't think it is, because the fuel spray is a drizzle. The fuel spray tells me that this is not a low pressure car. This is a high pressure car. Okay, so it is very, very bright out, and I can't see too much. And I'm going to try to aim this camera right into that throttle body. Is that at the throttle body? Yes. Now what you're going to want to see is the fuel trying to come out of that injector. Let's see. See how it's just a dribble? See how it's barely coming out? That's not right. That's not a good fuel flow. So that's what it looks like on the stock, sorry, on the low pressure. Now let me switch it to the high pressure. So now we have it turned over to the high pressure system. So ready? Watch the flow. So this is not a low pressure car. So here's what's going to happen with this Buick. The only thing I think it could be left is timing. And timing's not overly difficult to do on this, but I'm not going to do it. I think that is investing way too much money and time into a car that is a hunk of junk. You got to know when to draw the line sometimes. So how I view it is I'm driving a car, I paid $500 for that car, the car needs $500 as maintenance after a year to keep on the road, get rid of it, buy another $500 car that needs nothing. So that's the way I look at it, and I look at derby cars the same way. This thing is not going to make a huge impact in the derby world. This is not going to be a Camry killer. I don't even think this thing will kill Cavaliers. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take the line that's plugging me into this, and I'm going to unplug it and let this car flatline. I have a gentleman who says he can get the car running, and I think I'm just going to give it to him, let him run it, me get it back, and me take it for scrap. But if he gets it and this motor runs fantastic for him, maybe I'll save the motor, maybe I won't. I have brought this thing to the point, and now it has let it to sail the ship on its own. Jesus, take the wheel, if you guys want to say it like that. But there's been so many things about me putting different motors into it, and the car is just not worth it. So unfortunately, we're going to wipe our hands clean, and that's going to be the end of the Buick. I know that you guys want want me to build different cars, and it's really hard for me to be able to. I'm going to continue this inside because it's cold, it's windy, and I don't know if you guys can hear me. What I'm trying to say is there's certain cars that just don't do very well. For full size, you guys don't see anybody running front wheel drive 90s Cadillacs when everybody else was running square body or 98 to 02 Crown Vics kind of thing. You gotta take what wins. And honestly, every show around me is won in mini cars, and some big cars actually, is won by Camrys. You take a look back, almost every show is won by either a Toyota Camry, Solera, Avalon. It's unbelievable. And you guys can say it's only because those cars show up, but that's not true. Our show in Drayton last year, there was 16 mini cars. There was PT Cruisers, there was everything. Camry won. Full size, Camry came second, well, Avalon. And then you go to other shows. Aurelia, I was the only Toyota Camry there, and I won. You go to Coldwater. Coldwater had, I think they had almost 60 minis. Toyota Camry came first and second. And there was only 3 Toyota Camrys there. Out of 60 cars, there was 3 Toyota Camrys. They came first, second, fourth. Honestly, Toyota Camrys are amazing. And I know you guys are saying, well, that's all he builds is Toyota Camrys. You gotta build what's competitive. You can't go out there and a 1987 Sundance, or I know you guys are saying that Cavaliers are still okay. They are okay. But for me, Cavaliers don't stand up. I used to drive Cavaliers. I drove Cavaliers like crazy. There was one year when I ran, I think, 14 Cavaliers. Every derby I went to, I was getting beat by Camrys. I think there was one I got beat by an IROC Camaro. But every show, repeatedly, Camry was just destroying me. So I went and bought a Camry. Now, if you have a car that you guys like for me, W-bodies run full size, Camrys run mini around me. If you like W-bodies, stick with W-bodies. If you like Cavaliers, stay with Cavaliers. Corollas actually hold up pretty good in small, muddy tracks. If those are the cars you like, stick with them. But if you're a first-time driver, buy what's ever cheap. My first derby car, I traded a case of beer for. I wasn't even old enough to buy the case of beer. I traded a case of beer for my first car. And it was Busch Light. It wasn't even good beer. But all I'm saying is you guys tell me that you're getting tired of Toyota Camrys. I'm real sorry, but you gotta drive what wins. Up here, Toyota Camrys win every event. And if I was to get another rear-wheel drive like a Volvo or a Camaro or a Mustang, My rules are so favoring front-wheel drive that a rear-wheel drive couldn't survive, even in my full-size rules up here in Ontario. The rules favor front-wheel drives so heavily that rear-wheel drives, full-frame cars, are having the hardest time beating W-bodies. Legitimately, our full-size up here, I'm going to say W-bodies win 75% of the time. And in mini cars, I'm going to say Toyota Camrys win every show in Ontario 95 to 97% of the time. It is unbelievably, two cars are worth the most. So that's why I'm not willing to put the time, the energy, or the money into that Buick. Send it off to somebody else, let them deal with it. And I'm sorry, the car just doesn't run well enough to justify an hour-long tow, $60 worth of entry. So for the hour towing, you're like $35-40 in fuel. The $60 entry to get in, so there are your $100. And then you have food, because you know the wife's going to want food on the way home, so that's another $25-30. Even if you stop at McDonald's, that's still $20. You're going to invest another $150 basically into that car to go to a derby to have it lose in 30 seconds. And that's not worth it. I'll bring a Toyota that runs on 2 cylinders and almost make it to finals compared to that car that I don't even think will come close to finals. So thanks everybody for watching. I'm sorry about the Oldsmobile Buick situation. I guess she just wasn't meant to be. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe over here. So, thanks for watching. See you back here tomorrow.